Welcome to the Fantasmagorium show. On today's show, Hideo Nakata and the Day of the Dead celebrate the terror that they give us. Hello there. I'm not even supposed to be here today. We have Kenobi and CLERKS news and a Fear Street trilogy review. Let's go.
And we are live.
Hey, Steve, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. So what do you think of our new opening?
I think it's balls.
Ooh.
Like, and kicking balls. Like, it is full tilt boogie awesome is what I meant to say. When I said balls, I meant great.
Great. It is cool. We've been kind of teasing this for a while. We tell you about, giving us tips in the tip link, and this is what we were able to do with your tips. So thank you very much for that. Keep the tips coming. And to that end, I just want to, like we do every day, we want to say, if you would like to leave a tip with a comment, please do so. www.streamelements.com/phantasmagoriumshow/tip. Also, visit our website where you can find our link to our audio only podcasts at www.phantasmagoriumshow.com. And like we do every day, please like, subscribe, smash the subscribe button, hit the little bell, comment down below. Comment, like we say, we love subscriptions, but comments, shares, especially shares, and likes, even some dislikes, they all catch the algorithm for YouTube right, and it all helps the channel grow. So,
and if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. Yeah. Thank you for putting up with us both. Yeah. More Steve. Yeah. I'm awesome.
Right, you're awesome. I'm hard to get through.
No, you're fine. I'm being a jerk.
So kind of off the top, I just wanted to let everybody know, and I wanted to give everybody a little sneak peek into. Some of you know, some of you don't. I have, over the last 18 months or so since the pandemic, I got creative. I was able to do my first animated short film, directed it, edited it. So I co-wrote it, adapted it for the screen. So that came out. So I was able to do that. I was also able to write a short story for a contest. That was for a film festival, the movie. That's called The Pale Man.
And it's available on the Phantasmagorium channel.
It's available on our channel if you'd like to check that out.
You guys should check it out. It is fantastic. It is brilliantly acted by the voice actors, and the animation is great. The story is compelling. It's really worth your time.
Awesome. I also, for a contest, I did a short story called The Fallen. I also wrote a novel, 70,000 word novel called Droplets for the Soul that I'm trying to get published and hopefully published by the end of the year. But to that end, I have written a smaller, very much smaller, about 5,000 word book called Let's All Go to the Lobby. In fact, it's off at the editors right now, but I got the cover for it. And it'll be an ebook, and you can get it in paperback. And I'll let you guys know. I'll give you guys links and everything when it's available. Should be first part of next week, maybe even the end of this week. But I wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek at the cover for Let's All Go to the Lobby. There it is. A sweet history of concessions at the movies. What do you think, Scotty?
I'm so happy there's a golden ticket.
Right?
I've got
that's kind of what.
Go to the lobby.
Yeah, that's because of what I've been working on, and hopefully we'll have that up. I'm also working on getting The Pale Man up on Amazon Prime. That should happen. If it's going to happen, it should happen by the end of the week, and I'll let you guys know when that drops, so you guys can check that out. And like we always say, we appreciate all of your engagement and participation in all the stuff that we do, not only the show, but our ancillary pursuits as well. And thank you for
supporting creators. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for your
You
indulgence.
are a creator. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks for your indulgence and let me get that stuff out there. You know, all the proceeds from the books and stuff that we do will go right back into the show, along with your tips. We get cool intros and start upgrading things for the show. It'll be great. You know, the better we can make the show, hopefully, the more you want to watch.
I want a Phantasmagorium ringtone.
Right? I think you could probably turn that intro into a ringtone.
I think I just found out how.
I think so. Okay, let's get to the bulk of the show. We'll get right into it. So, as Scott alluded to in the opening, he brought us the likes of Ringu and Darkwater. Give it up for a legend in the J horror scene. Happy birthday to Hideo Nakata. Did I say it right? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, Hideo Nakata. So I don't know exactly how old he is, because you don't always ask those things. I
just celebrate that he was born.
I
don't today. Necessarily ask the age. I
right.
feel that that's inappropriate, but yeah. I'm certain that he was born, and since then he's been scaring us to death.
All right, cool. So yeah, those are pretty scary.
Well, Ringu, of course, and I've seen when I saw The Ring and Naomi Watson. Great movie. I saw it at a drive-in. It was a foggy evening. It was fantastic, perfect environment. But when I went and finally sought out Ringu, I prefer it. Like, I find the Japanese horror films so very.
You know what they do. Asian cinema in general, but especially the Japanese filmmakers, they make the environment a character in the movie. They make it's very different from the way North American directors approach movies. Usually, the setting is just the setting. It's not actually a character in their film. So that's one thing I kind of like about especially the Japanese, and especially Japanese horror. Their settings and their environment is almost always a character.
The atmosphere is such an important part. Yes. It's not jump scares. Although when they do jump scare, they know what they're doing.
They're earned. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So happy birthday, Mr. Nakata. 36 years ago today, July 19th, 1985, George A. Romero's horror classic film, Day of the Dead, was released. So happy anniversary.
I'm in charge of this monkey farm now, Frankenstein. Oh, Joe Polito, I love you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good anniversary.
What is your favorite of the Dawn, Day, Night trilogy?
I don't know. I don't know if I can pick a favorite. I like them all.
Yeah, me too.
I like them all. I don't know if I have a favorite though.
People think of Day as being the lesser of the trilogy, and I don't like that, because I think it is the most energetic of the three. Mm-hmm. I'd say Dawn of the Dead is my favorite. Then I would go Day, and then Night is something that I've been listening to on repeat since I was 14 years old.
I think I'm the same. I think I'm the same. I'm gonna maybe that seems like a cop out, but I'm gonna follow my partner Scotty R37 and say yes. Dawn is probably my favorite out of that.
Nothing wrong with agreement. It's great.
All right. So with that's kind of off the top. Let's get into the main thrust of the news today. The final trailer for Snake Eyes dropped this morning, and I figured, without giving too much away, because we're gonna watch it and kind of react to it. I grabbed it because it highlights a certain character in a way that they haven't yet.
Please be Baroness. Please be Baroness. Please be Baroness.
And okay, so I'll give that away. A little bit yes, and a little bit no. So let's watch the final trailer for Snake Eyes. All right, so yes, you were right. We got a little Baroness in there,
which is always great.
Which is always great, and obviously that little in tag with "Call Me Storm Shadow." Okay, cool.
Yes,
awesome. It's a little more highlight on his character in this in this final trailer.
Do you know anything about the production of Snake Eyes in terms of the practical effects? Have they been doing featurettes talking about the practical effects? Because that, like, it looks really good.
It does look really good. It looks really good. And I didn't expect it to be good. I didn't think the previous G.I. Joe films were any good.
Nope.
But this looks, Henry Golding, the actors, they got good actors. It looks like from what I've seen in these 3 trailers now, the action looks really good, really well choreographed. So, I mean, and swords and motorcycles, John Wick proved that theory. You have swords and motorcycles, man. You're winning.
Bitch, please. I've seen Black Rain.
Black Rain, man. I know. Black Rain's dope.
And if you haven't seen Black Rain, it's a film directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott or Tony Scott? I think it's Ridley.
I think it's a Tony Scott film. I don't know. I think
it's a Ridley. It's a Scott film. And that's why I'm allowed to call all of the Scotts. Yeah. I am a Scott, and therefore I win. But if you haven't seen Black Rain, do that. And then go see Snake Eyes. Yeah. X-Men Origins, G.I. Joe.
Yeah. I wish they would have left that out of there. Just Snake Eyes.
I know, fine, and I'm just being catty. I don't mean it. I'm like,
I just wish they would have. I don't like that. The book of and this kind of. Just call it what it is.
Yeah,
but I know
Snake Eyes.
Yeah,
you can't because Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah. I guess you can.
The Snake Eyes. Anyway, right. I'm getting off track. I'm sorry. I'm super excited today. I apologize.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about, like the fact that Clerks 3 is going to shoot next month. This is from Kevin Smith's social media this morning. My birthday is August 2nd, he says, and Lionsgate just gave me the best gift I could ever ask for, the money to make another sequel to my debut film. Dante, Randall, Jay, Silent Bob, Becky, Elias, Veronica, Emma, the characters from both Clerks and Clerks 2 will return with me to the scene of the crime at the little store that started it all. So awesome. I'm a huge Clerks fan. Love Clerks. Both of them are great movies, in my opinion. Rosario Dawson, obviously. Anytime she's on screen, it's amazing for me. But yeah, Clerks 3. What are your thoughts about Clerks 3?
Well, I just found it.
Or good.
Heavens, no.
Yeah.
My only, considering when Clerks was made and Clerks 2 was made, that was nearly 20 years, 15 years between both of them. And I was going to ask you which you like better, Clerks 1 or 2. And I am more partial with Clerks 2 now because I was that age-ish when I saw Clerks 2. And so to see Clerks 3 being the chronological age of Randall and Dante and then being able to compare and contrast their lives with my life, like I do think of Randall and Dante as being friends. Like they are people that I've grown up with. So I'm looking forward to the next installment. I am hoping that it will be better than Jay and Silent Bob reboot, but I trust that it will be because I think Kevin Smith has the reverence for Dante and Randall in the same way that I do. Like, I don't think that he will be willy-nilly. I don't think he's having a donkey show with these kids. I think he's actually going to make a compelling and engaging and emotional story. And so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. But much like No Time to Die, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's been announced so many times.
Yeah. It looks like they got the money, though. From what he said on social media today, it looks like Lionsgate gave him the money and the green light, so it looks like they're going to do it. So we'll see how it turns out. But as to your question, yes, I still think the first one is my favorite, just because of how it. I don't know if it was groundbreaking for everybody else, but for me, it really opened up my eyes to cinema in a different way than had been previous, especially kind of indie cinema, because I wasn't really into indie cinema until I saw Clerks. Mm-hmm. In fact, did I see it at Lollapalooza? I might have saw it at Lollapalooza actually.
Holy moly!
Yeah, a long fucking time ago. But it's hard because I do like the second one. Like I said, I like Rosario Dawson, but so it's right. It's close, man. They're good movies. Both of them are good movies. And all I have to say to Kevin Smith is, please make a good movie. Just make a good movie, and we'll all be happy and better off for it.
Yeah, but I kind of understand when Kevin Smith goes into a Jay and Silent Bob movie and he opens his toy box and he smashes them all together
Sure.
and he just puts on a show. But when he made Clerks 2, everyone was like, seriously? And then it became a heartfelt, like you had to be a fan. It was self-referential. It was certainly for the fans, but it was also for people who were of that age living at that time.
Yeah.
And I think the second one spoke to me more than the first, but I still, which kid? Pebbles or Bam Bam? I don't know. And
Right.
so with Clerks 3, I think that Clerks 3 will be representative of, hey, who knows? Maybe Dante will be a vegan living post heart attack.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
see.
we'll see.
Best of luck. I want to see it. I want to see it. And I want to
Yeah.
hear the soundtrack.
Sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so let's we'll go on to the next one. Next item
Yes, sir.
up for bid is Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that I'm saying it right? Okay, Ghost of Tsushima movie coming from John Wick director. Whenever the prospect of a new video game movie adaptation materializes, we usually run the gamut from, oh, hey, cool, to, oh, but it probably won't be good pretty fast, right? So this is being set up and being done. It's in the works from John Wick series director Chad. I can never. How do you pronounce his last name? Do you know?
I just call him Chad. We're on a first name basis.
Yeah.
Stelelsky?
Stahelsky?
Stahelski.
Stahelsky?
I would say Stalsky.
Okay. Well, Chad is
Chad.
the guy-
Ahoy,
you know,
Chad.
the dude from John Wick. So he's doing. So look, if we're getting the John Wick treatment for, excuse me, what looks like an amazing video game. I've heard nothing but good things. I'm not a video gamer, but I have heard a lot of good things from this particular video game. So if it's getting the John Wick treatment, that can only be good news. But like we always say, just make a good movie. What do you think? What do you say, Scott?
I'm not familiar with Ghost of Tsushima. I know of it, but from what I understand, it is more of a fantasy or a historical adventure. Historical. It's not a documentary, but
Samurai
it's not.
movie.
It's not.
Or
Yeah,
video game. I mean,
yeah, it's not my typical genre of video. I like post-apocalyptic with guns and cars. Like I'm more of a Mad Max guy or a. So this isn't the kind of game that I play. But hey, John Wick can make a movie. But again, like I was so excited for Assassin's Creed,
yeah,
and then I wasn't.
yeah, yeah. That kind of fell on its face. Doom, Street Fighter. I mean, yeah, the list kind of goes on. I think.
Well, the original Carl Urban Doom is it's laughably good.
Okay, I'll take that.
In my opinion.
The problem is these
Anyway.
video game movies. We've talked about this on the show. It's hard to make the jump. They're two definitely different mediums, and it's just hard to satisfy both audiences. Right? You want to make an entertaining movie, but video games are interactive. Movies aren't as much.
Well, and if you have played a first-person shooter like Doom or Halo or something like that, and you are watching it and you are not in control, and a filmmaker has done something and they want to aim the first-person shooting towards something else, and you can see the tension that the director is trying to build by you seeing what's in the top corner, you as a gamer who has had a controller in your hand says, top right. And if you don't go there, it's not that you're a bad filmmaker anymore. It's that you're a shitty gamer.
Right.
So I do think there is a conflict there where it's like, if you want me to play the game, I'll buy the game. If you want me to watch the movie, don't pretend to be the game.
Yeah.
It's the narrative structure. You want to see the best Fallout movie ever made? Go watch The Book of Eli, and then we'll call it a day.
Good movie, by the way.
It is a great movie.
Yeah, I liked the video game movies. Like I think I brought this up on the channel too. I like the last Tomb Raider. I thought the Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander was good.
Well, I celebrate the entire Tomb Raider filmography.
I thought it was a solid movie, and as a video game adaptation, I don't know. I never played Tomb Raider that I can remember.
I did. It was great. It was awesome.
So but it seemed like that was a solid movie. Hopefully, our John Wick guy Chad can hit it out of the park with Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, and I think he will, simply because if there was a John Wick video game adaptation, the video game of John Wick would never live up to John Wick.
Right.
So I would like to see the inverse.
Sure. Sticking with the John Wick news, Hughes to direct Wick prequel Continental. Now, so Albert Hughes, Book of Eli, we were just talking about,
which is a great movie. Yeah.
Menace to Society, has been set as director for most of Star's John Wick prequel spinoff, The Continental. Now, originally, this was set to be a series on Starz, but this project has now kind of morphed. So Heat Vision broke the report saying the project, which was originally developed to be a series, has now been altered into more of a major one-off event. The project has reportedly been reconceived as three-part, three-night event limited series, with each episode coming in at both a movie length and at a movie budget. So each one is about 90 minutes in length, and each of the three about $20 million each. So they're not taking this lightly. They're spending the money that they need to spend, and this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Fear Street that we'll talk about later in the show. How they did the three movies, full length movies, dropping on consecutive Fridays. So this looks like it's going to be. This is awesome, actually. 3-part, 3-night event. You're going to get 90-minute movies about the Continental. Now, I was looking forward to the Continental series because I thought that lore was one of the things that drew me into that world, the John Wick world, anyways. And I wanted to see that expanded upon. What are your thoughts about the Continental and their shift from series to mini-series event?
I am thankful for the mini-series event. I think that is a great benefit. One of the things that I've been hearing about many of the series that are happening recently is that they find it too short. And I'm referring mostly to the Disney Plus series, whether it be the Marvel or the Star Wars's. But it's like it could be another 10 minutes. And it's almost like those shows are adhering to television rules while being on a streaming service and not pushing the limits of what they can do with how they're doing it. We can do a trilogy in 3 weeks as long as the production is behind it. And we'll talk about that again later in regards to Fear Street. Sure. But I had absolutely no interest in watching a studio Walking Dead, The Continental. That is something that I did not want. But now that I know that it's a trilogy of movies or trilogy of extended episodes, let's even call them Columbo movies, like they used to do, or Incredible Hulk movies, like they used to do. And it's like, if you're going to do that every once in a while and leave it open, well, we may do another, we may not, but that was the story we wanted to tell this time. So here you go. Then I am much more interested in that than I would be in terms of fearing the wandering up and down, no AM radio dead.
Awesome. So
too much?
No, just right. Just the right amount of
just enough snark.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about these couple of John Wick news items? Go ahead and leave your comments in the leave your comments or questions in the comments, and we'd love to talk to you about that.
Oh, and we are going to talk to you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for participating. Sorry if we're not getting to you in the middle of the show, but we are having a show where we'll be opening up the floor to you guys closer to the finale, because you guys close it with a bang.
Yeah, and this is probably a good time to just reiterate the structure of our show. We do off the top, then we do our news items, and then we get to your comments and questions. We feel that the flow of the show flows better if we do it in this manner instead of, like I said on Thursday and Friday. If we start taking too many comments and questions while we're trying to get to the news, the conversation veers off into a lot of different directions, and it's just easier for us to stay on track and give you the best possible tight knit show that we're trying to convey. So, thank you for your patience.
That being said, yeah. Black Phillip is on deck, and thanks for being here. Wookiee Fever, yes. 1969.
Awesome. So, Scotty, it looks like the Obi-Wan series has found their Princess Leia.
Really?
Obi-Wan Kenobi has found its young Princess Leia, according to a new report. The live-action Star Wars series, set a decade after the downfall of Obi-Wan's Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith, reportedly involves a young Leia and Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader's twin children separated at birth. According to Star Wars scooper Jordan Mason of Cinelinx?
Yes.
Cinelinx. Sorry.
Vivian Lyra Blair.
Of
Vivian Bird Lyra Box Blair. And We Can Be Heroes fame.
Yep. Will play a big part of in Kenobi as Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan, described as the impetus for the whole show, which makes sense because Luke shouldn't be the impetus of the show because he's already there on Tatooine. So this gives Obi-Wan and journey, right? An adventure. True. If he has to go check out what the hell's going on Alderaan with somebody poking around Princess Leia Organa, right?
Okay. So well, let's do phrasing. Like. Let's do phrasing. But
yeah, I didn't mean it like that.
No, I know. First things first. Where's Jimmy Smits? Second thing.
Don't know.
On deck. How do you feel about this show in general? I'm curious what your opinions are.
I can't wait for it. I'm really excited for it.
Okay.
I'm actually really excited for Andor as well and the Ahsoka series. So those are the three series I'm looking forward to the most. I would have had the Acolyte on that list. It used to be at the top of the list until I heard some of the behind the scenes stuff from the creators and how they're kind of approaching it. So that I'm reserving judgment until I know more or see something. But those are my main three. I do like this era of storytelling. I think there's a lot of rich stories to be told. I do like the fact. I don't know if you saw Rebels.
No, I didn't.
So this basically is going to dovetail right from Rebels into this series. And look, Filoni and Favreau love these things. Filoni made this, he's the Rebels and Clone Wars guy. So he loves playing with these characters and playing in this world. So I think we're going to get something really interesting, and we're going to tell a new story, which is great.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Well, no, I was curious about your opinion, and you're very, very enthusiastic about it. I'm cautiously enthusiastic about it. I love Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I would love to see what happens in between Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars, but I don't know. I'm enthusiastic for the jangly keys being shaken in front of me, but I don't know if it's going to be engaging enough story-wise for me to be all in for. Cassian Andor, same sort of situation, but I do want to see more about how Cassian Andor got to be Cassian Andor. I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it's Diego Luna, and maybe it's his charismatic performance that makes me intrigued. Same way that I'm intrigued with Kenobi, because of Ewan. And then also, as we have both asserted, or at least I'm chiming in and agreeing with you, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. I'm in. Yeah. That was one of the few second season episodes of the Mandalorian that I watched, and it was to see her interpretation, and I enjoy seeing Ahsoka Tano played by Rosario Dawson being not a Jedi. It's great.
Yeah.
And so I am looking forward to the storytelling and seeing how they're moving forward. The only complaint, and it's the complaint that I always have, is that Star Wars is never moving forward. It's always prequels. It's what's happening in the past. But then again, I'm a whiny baby who is complaining about something that starts off every time by saying a long time ago. So they're all prequels.
Right? It's already happened.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I like the fact that we're getting young Luke and Leia, so it makes sense from a story standpoint.
And everyone was so happy when there was a baby Anakin Skywalker. Everyone jumped for joy at that one. Sorry, I don't mean to be that snarky.
That's pretty snarky. It's fine. Look, I trust Filoni and Favreau to do a good job.
I do.
They've done a really good job on The Mandalorian so far, and so. We're looking at that as well as the Book of Boba Fett. And
I heard something.
So that brings us to our next item, which is basically, look, there's no way to sugarcoat this. Black Widow collapsed in its second week. 67% drop in box office. Now, there's a lot of, I think personally, there's a lot of issues that are behind the reason for that drop. I think there's a lot of things that happened, but the theater owners and their association NATO are blaming it all on Disney Plus's PVOD, or their premium release day and date. Movie theater operators did not mince words in asserting that Disney left money on the table by putting Marvel's Black Widow on Disney Plus on the same day as its theatrical debut. And that NATO is not. They're not happy, and they're basically blaming that. They could be forgiven. This is their business, right? So of course they're going to say that's the reason. I don't think I think it's a reason. I don't think it's the reason. I think there's a lot of contributing factors to this drop. We were talking a little bit.
One of which is going to be Space Jam 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No. I don't.
Well, that is the one that overtook it.
It overtook it.
That is number one at the box office.
But I don't think. But I'll tell you. But it's a horrible opening for that movie, by the way.
What was it? Do you know what?
31 million. 31 million was not a great opening for that.
That's a heck of a lot more than I thought it was going to make, dude.
Yeah, me too. But its budget was upwards of 150 plus million. So
that doesn't make a lick of sense.
They're not making that money back. But it's a horrible movie, by the way.
I haven't seen it.
Well, you can watch it for free on. That's another one that's day and date. That one actually dropped for free on HBO Max.
Yeah,
so you can watch that for free right now
with your subscription. Yes.
Yeah. So I think so. Obviously, there are many factors I think that go into this. One is I think everybody that wanted to see Black Widow saw Black Widow. I don't think this is a property that was going to have long legs, and I don't think it's a property necessarily that average regular moviegoers were going to want to see again and again and again in theater. So I think that's another contributing factor. Another contributing factor is the fact that COVID cases are on the rise. The media is scaring the hell out of people to stay at home again. So I think that has something to do with it. I think people are not 100% comfortable with going to the theater. And I think, you could say, well, Steve, they went the last weekend. Yeah, but I mean, we had 5 days of horrible news about COVID too, plastered all over the internet and social media. So I think that's a contributing factor, not the factor.
Now, if I may suggest,
yes, please.
Back in the day, remember how you would have a couple of good weekends and then it would go away?
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing would come out, unless it was like a steamroller. It
Right.
had to be like a huge cultural phenomenon. Is it something that the distributors, the vendors are going to have to contend with in terms of, all right, we're going to have to book the movies that look like they're going to explode and be huge contenders for that. But also the consumers are aware that in a matter of months, Disney Plus is going to be offering this just on streaming with the cost of their subscription. Is it the word of mouth that is going to be bringing people into seats? The spectacle is good. And as we've been talking when we've been discussing box office on Mondays for at least 4 episodes, maybe 3. It is a situation where if you want to see it, you will go see it. But if you don't want to, then you're not going to. And that's the kind of entertainment consumption that was happening before the internet. You would read an article, you would read a review in a newspaper, or your friend from down the street who likes the same kind of stuff that you do said, go check this out. You'd like it. And that's when it's like, should I go to a theater to see it? Like, it's kind of a thing, which is what you would say in 1982. And they would be like, oh, no, you should see this in a theater, where the theater itself is the spectacle. So I don't know if it's a negative or a positive in terms of the collapse. I think it's a matter of, it's sending a message to the studios saying, yeah, you're let's go see it 7 times in a theater with the fear of the goo bug. Well, we're not going to do that. But if I want to see it in a theater, I'm going to go see it in a theater. And it doesn't matter how much I like Space Jam 2.
Right.
I'm not going to see it 3 times because I don't want to go back into the Petri dish again.
By the way, every theater that I've been in since the pandemic has done an amazing job at keeping the place clean and sanitary. So,
have you ever seen them clean an elephant, like with the scrub brushes and stuff? Yeah, no, that's how it was when I went.
So I think there's many contributing factors. Obviously, NATO is going to point at the one thing they hate the most, which is day and date release. They're going to have to get over that. I don't think day and date release is ever going away. In fact, it was coming anyways. The pandemic just kind of exacerbated that. But it was coming anyways, and it's here to stay. Now there's some tweaks that both Warner Brothers and Disney can do to help stop this from taking such a beating. Maybe delay the PVOD a couple of weeks so it's not day and date. Even if it's a 2 or 3 weeks, they could do that. I don't think they're going to do that, but they could do that. And there's some other things they can do. I think here's the thing. The way that we measure success for a movie for all time has been, up until this point, has been opening week box office. Well, that opening week box office was amazing for Black Widow. $80 million is more than I thought it was going to make, especially during this time. So the second week, usually you don't want to see a 60+ percentage point drop, obviously, but it happens. And it happens with big tentpole movies all the time. The audience score is good. The critics score is good. So I don't think it says I really don't think it says much about the movie. Like I said, I think most of the people that wanted to see Black Widow saw Black Widow. They either saw it in the theater, they paid the $30, or they're good just to wait until it comes to Disney Plus for free.
But Steve, and this is something that I've been trying to be delicate and diplomatic with, is that I'm a Marvel fan. I enjoy Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, but every time someone brings up Black Widow and they're like, I'm going to go see it, the first thing I put in the chat is, spoiler, she dies. Like,
Yeah.
and that's my opinion of the movie. That's
And
just
you know what?
where I am.
You're not wrong, because and for the general movie going audience and shit, for even fans, hardcore Marvel fans, I think a lot of them are like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I can wait on this movie. I don't have to go the first 2 weekends.
Like, I'm
Or
gonna
maybe-
see.
yeah.
I'm gonna see Black Widow get into a fight, and she's gonna have a horrible time at it. But I know she's gonna win, and there is
Yeah.
no point in going to a fight if you know who's gonna win.
And this is what I meant about a movie having this particular movie not having long legs. I didn't think it was going to have long legs anyways, just for the nature of what the movie is, right? I just didn't think it was going to be something that it's not like an Endgame where you want to go see it 7 times in the theater. You don't want to see Black Widow over and over again in the theater. You watch it for what it is, and then that's it. You know what I mean? It doesn't further the Marvel canon story, the chronology of the Marvel canon, the MCU, in any way, except for you're going to see a character from the movie in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. That's all.
Well, and Disney Plus is doing an excellent job of moving the MCU further and forward better than the last 2 movies.
Well, it's because we haven't actually gotten a forward-looking Marvel MCU movie because of the pandemic, and that's okay.
WandaVision was a great cliffhanger. I thought Falcon and the Winter Soldier was presenting something that was like, okay, this is where we're going moving forward. And I thought Loki was I think it was saying, okay, well, this is stuff that's going to affect what's going on forward. These are details, but these are issues. These are not graphic novels. The Disney Plus shows are issues. And I don't even think, well, and I haven't seen Black Widow, but hey, I have Disney Plus and I don't have a ticket to Black Widow. I guess that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. The big test, I think, for Disney will be Shang-Chi. So when that movie drops, then let's see what happens. I think because Black Widow is a movie is a prequel movie. It is what it is. The nature of that movie doesn't lend itself to actually gauging whether this practice is good, bad, ugly, whatever. Right? I think, but because Shang-Chi is new, it moves the timeline forward. We're actually moving MCU forward. That will be a test, I think, for a better test than Black Widow, absolutely, for this day and date release with the PVOD. That's just
I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi more than I was for Black Widow.
Yeah, it looks good, and we'll see how that plays out, and we'll have all the a bunch more talking heads in the movie entertainment sphere that'll have tons to say about it, I'm sure, and NATO will probably still have something to say about it because they hate the practice because it takes it like they said, it leaves money on the table, and they don't like it because their business is movie theaters. So, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more things until we get our review. Hopefully Phil can join us here. Marvel and DC shut up money. Comic creators go public over pay. The star writers and artists behind major comic book characters are becoming increasingly outspoken about paltry deals that don't account for their work being adapted into billion-dollar blockbusters. Yeah, absolutely. The comic book writer who created the Winter Soldier character and whose work helped inspire 1 billion grossers like 2016's Captain America: Civil War, made waves with a widely circulated interview in which he expressed dissatisfaction with his Winter Soldier pay. I have made more on SAG residuals than I had made on creating the character, Brubaker told Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin on Fat Man Beyond podcast, referencing his cameo in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So Ed Brubaker, the creator of The Winter Soldier, made more money from his cameo appearance in the movie than he did creating the character for Marvel in the first place.
Who created Bucky?
I don't know off the top of my head.
And so I would say that Ed Brubaker did nothing but put a costume on Bucky.
It may be Ed Brubaker, actually. I wouldn't be surprised.
Bucky from like Captain America and Bucky? No, that goes back to the 40s. Ed Brubaker is not.
Oh, no. That would have to be.
Bucky is the Winter Soldier, so he didn't create Bucky.
No, that's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's Ed Brubaker's fault because he's like saying that he's made more from a cameo than creating the character of the Winter Soldier. You didn't create the Winter Soldier. You created the suit that Bucky wears.
Right.
And so I'm not going to give you credit for Bucky. Sorry, pal.
Yeah. I mean,
this is like if you want to say that you introduced a new way of looking at James Buchanan Barnes, then absolutely, that is a great thing. But like, I'm not going to give. Hey, when someone else starts writing for, like, who created Jason Todd, and when they came back as the Red Hood, did you create the Red Hood, or did you create Jason Todd? No, you created the spacesuit that Jason Todd wears.
Yeah.
And so in this, I understand the premise for what people are saying, but in this particular regards, I would say, shut up, Ed.
No, you make a great point. Look, this is going to happen with creators all the time because they're going to create something for one medium. It's not. So you create it for one medium. You created that working for a company. This is not like you created it on your own, and then somebody took it from you, right? That you made it for Marvel. Marvel owns it. So whatever they do with it afterwards, I mean, you should get credit. Obviously, absolutely, you should get credit.
That's the creators.
But so
the creators of Superman, giving Bill Finger credit. That's
absolutely
huge.
Yeah.
But saying Ed Brubaker's like, oh no, I didn't make enough money from making the Winter Soldier, and it's like, yeah, well, no one got all that much from making Nomad either.
Yeah, when he made the Winter Soldier, did we know it was going to be $1 billion film? No. So I don't know what he's asking for. Is he asking for Marvel to have paid him $100,000 to make the character in the first place? It's weird, right? I don't know. Or is he looking from after these things are successful in film? He wants some kind of payment.
Do you want to be paid for a story credit?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That would be the best you could do, I guess. Like a story credit, if you want an adaptation sort of residual that makes sense, but you're not really talking about the business of Marvel and DC. You're talking about the transformative medium of making something a print tale and then transferring it over into a cinematic tale. Movies, right? And I don't know that legality. The best I know is from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
So I don't know. I don't really know what they're asking for. I don't know if they actually really know what they're asking for, except that more appreciation and money, it looks like, from these things. So I guess we'll see.
It's interesting to find out that the people who made all of these classic characters and these classic storylines are saying, why won't you pay us money? And they're not getting money for their creative IP. And the people who are making the not selling creative IP of today are being like, give us your money. And then everyone is being like, but no one wants it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, the business of Hollywood and Marvel Comics. I blame Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. That son of a bitch.
All right. So while we're hopefully Black Phillip Alvarez will join us for our review. Yes. So Phil, if you'd click the link and come on in, we'd love that. While we're waiting for Phil, let's run down the everything that's coming to Netflix this week.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty, if
the week of July 18th, starting Tuesday, July 20th, we have Milkwater. On Wednesday, July 21st, Chernobyl 1986, which is a Netflix original. The Movies That Made Us season 2, and I've seen The Toys That Made Us, and so the movies that and I've seen The Movies That Made Us season 1, so that's really interesting. So I'll be checking that out on Wednesday. 1-on-1 with Kirk Cameron season 1. Obviously, they needed to replace Fuller House. Sexy Beasts is also a Netflix original. Too Hot to Handle Brazil. I haven't seen that. Oh, Sexy Beasts is the crazy makeup. It's like if people who worked at theme parks started dating. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to watch it with pants off. It's going to be great.
There you go.
Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans is also on Wednesday the 21st. Thursday, 9 to 5, the story of a movement.
That looks good too.
I haven't heard anything about that. Is that like get out of bed and pour yourself a cup of ambition 9 to 5?
No.
Okay.
That's the the Black Power movement.
Oh, my mistake.
I don't know if it's Black Power movement, but it's it looks really good.
I don't know if you can tell by my visage, but I am much more of a Dolly Parton.
The revolution will not be televised, Scott.
Oh, well, hopefully it'll be live streamed. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, a Netflix original, Friday, July 23rd. A Second Chance Revivals, bankrolled Blood Red Sky.
Blood Red Sky looks good. Now, Blood Red Sky is a vampire movie that takes place, at least some of it takes place on a plane. So vampires on a plane. Yeah. So.
Okay, I'm in with that. That's fine. Right. Do they outrun the terminus?
Well, I don't know.
Where it's always always dark, so the plane has to go, so you outrun the sunlight. That'd be really cool.
I haven't seen the movie yet, Scotty, but yeah.
Well, no, fair enough. Neither have I. No, so no spoilers.
Right.
Kingdom, Ashen of the North, The Last Letter from Your Lover, Masters of the Universe, Revelation, and Sky Rojo or Rojo, season 2. All of the productions that I just mentioned are Netflix originals, and I think we'll be talking more about Masters of the Universe Revelation soon.
We should be, yes.
Which I'm looking forward to. And then Charmed season 3.
Okay.
And Django Unchained.
Saturday, July 24th, yeah.
Saturday, July 24th. And so if you have not seen Django, Charmed season 3, or any of the titles that I've listed above, I highly recommend that you check those out. They are available with your Netflix subscription, but I would also like to point out that we are not sponsored by Netflix yet.
Okay, so let's jump into our Fear Street all 3 movies review. Let's bring on our special guest today, Black Phillip Alvarez. Hey, Phil.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Great to have you on the show. You, buddy.
Yeah. Every comment is from me today, so don't worry.
Oh no, it's great. Oh well, hey, Wookiee Fever 1969 was here. It was great.
Wookiee Fever, yeah.
Yeah, we'll shout him out at the end. Yeah. So we all saw all 3 movies. I think Scott, you did a binge of all 3 movies.
Ooh.
I marathoned it. I did all 3 in a row, and I was so happy.
Okay, let's start with you.
Yeah, start with you. You're not.
Well, okay. Let's start with. Want to go one by one?
One by one
movie. Yes, I don't want to. I don't think it would be fair. Fear Street 1994 is the story of a crazy ass motherfucker who goes and kills Maya Hawke, and you find out that he gets shot in the head. And then he shows up again in sort of a Scream-esque situation. And everyone is really confused as to how that happened because he was shot in the head. And there is terror. There is gore. I was really surprised with the gore. The way it was filmed, it looked a little CW to begin with. But I thought that they were going with like the era-appropriate lighting.
Yes.
But as the movie progressed, it was so interesting to see the gore, the context of the story, the interactions of the characters, certain things that weren't brought up that it was like, how does this work? And it's like, it's not important. Just move along.
Right.
Like everything about it I thought was great, and it hooked me into, and we'll talk about it shortly, Fear Street 1978. But Phil, what did you think of Fear Street 1994?
Well, as a massive horror buff, I definitely like these movies a lot. Probably one of the best horror trilogies I've seen in a long time. They were fun. It was very, very much like the first one, 1994. It was very Scream-like. Obviously, 78 was very Friday the 13th like, and the last one, 1666, kind of worried at me at first, but the way how it shifted back into coming back to the first film, I liked that a lot better. So yeah, I had fun. I had a lot of fun with it.
How did you feel about the soundtrack in 1994?
Any movie that has a Rob Zombie or White Zombie, I'm always down for. So, it was a great soundtrack.
It was. 1994. I liked. We talked about it a little bit on the show previously, so I won't go into in depth with it. But I did like that. I thought, it had that. You were talking, Scotty, a little bit about the aesthetic and the look of the film and the tone. I think it was definitely on purpose. Obviously, sure. And I think, obviously the Scream element of the movie was definitely on purpose. Just period correct, kind of, get everybody in that vibe. I did like it. I liked the whole series, and we can talk more about that either at the end or what I did like. Well, I'll wait till we get to 1666 to kind of this kind of dovetails. Let me just set this up.
You can do whatever you want, man. It's your show.
Right. 1666 is great because half of the movie is the third part of the trilogy, right? With 1666, but then about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, you get 1994 Part 2.
Yeah, it's like
which was such a surprise.
So it's like 3.5 movies, pretty much.
So it comes back around to where we started. So it's forward and reverse, but then it comes back around and finishes off strong. I thought, look, is this master filmmaking? No, no, it's not. Are these solid horror movies for a weekend viewing and relaxing around the house? Hell yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was great. I actually really enjoyed some of the acting is okay. Some of the dialogue's cheeseball here and there, but I really liked the story. I thought the story was good. The through line was cool.
Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, we can do spoilers.
We'll hold spoilers to the end.
Died in the first one, so you already spoiled it.
But I thought the story was really good. I like the it completely kept my interest the whole time. I never once said, I never felt in any one of these movies, and maybe this is good. They started out short and they got a little longer, but maybe it's good they kept it tight. So never once in any of these films did I go like, oh man, this is dragging, or oh man, I'm going to check out of this. I was engaged.
I was never bored
the whole time. I was never bored.
And the funny thing is that I checked to see, and I was like, okay, so the first episode is it's an hour and 45 minutes. Second episode, it was like an hour and 50. And then I never checked to see how long 1666 was. And I was like, well, I guess it's over when it's over.
Yeah,
and I was invested. I was invested in the story after the first one to be like, okay, I'll watch the second one right after. And then when I got to the third one, I was like, I just want to finish this story. Because it's not that I had homework. It was because I was watching and I was like, no, I enjoyed it. And also I feel like I watched Fear Street in the perfect condition. I started at 10 p.m. So it was all dark in the ballpark. And it was just like, let's horror movie this. And it was amazing. It was great. There was swearing, there was sex, there was gore. Like absolutely everything about all three was satisfying to me. Even the fact that it was even the fact that the 1666 was a vision that was populated by the actors of
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the first movie.
or the first two, and I thought
first
that
two,
was
yeah.
great.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought Cindy and Ziggy were both compelling actresses. I thought, oh my stars, who was that pixie haired girl who was banging the dude who got axed in the face? Like that was and that is not something that I was expecting when I found out after this second movie, and they were like based on the books by R.L. Stein, and I was like, wait. What?
Those were supposed to be kids' books. Like, where did all this gore and stuff come from, and cursing and
but sex?
But I kind of liked it. But that's what I dug about it. It didn't CW it like you said. So
the only thing. And also before we move any further, at the very first scene where Maya Hawke is running through the food court and she notices the first dead guy, I swear that guy is dressed up like Jay from Mallrats. It is. He looks like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob from Mallrats.
That's interesting.
Maybe not Mallrats, but he was. It was. I saw it, and I saw it for a flash. I didn't rewind it, but I looked at it, and then later on, there was a comment in terms of the newscaster exposition, and it was like, well, he was just a cool dude. I don't know why he died. He just hung out, smoked weed, and read comics. And so there were so many references in the first two to define the ages in which those movies came out that it was somewhat shocking and blatant, but I enjoyed every part of it. I thought they were a little heavy on the soundtrack.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, if you're a massive horror buff, I mean, you expect it. I mean, this is everything you expected from a trilogy like this. But it was almost because the first one's very 90s horror. The second one was very 80s horror, and then like the third one, even though it was a half a movie, pretty much. But it was very much like The Witch and all those other movies of that type of genre.
I love that period. And Scotty and I both said, this seemed like a cool experiment for Netflix to do, but we're waiting for that 1666. That was what sounded like the piece de resistance. But and when I was watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. And it was a little bit of a slower burn than the other two films, but it's it gets to the action fairly quickly, about halfway through that first half of the movie, and then we're off and running when it's 1994 Part 2, when we culminating in back.
If I may interrupt before we get to 1666, in 1978, it was essentially the origin story of the Sackhead axe murderer.
Yeah,
and it was the only one who was important. You saw the development of the villain in the second one. And that I thought was in like the transformation of, what was his name? I want to say it wasn't Tony.
Tommy.
So when Tommy,
reference.
Phil, you're such a horror guy. You probably picked up on 12 times the amount of references that there were in there. But like just seeing him be the primary,
so much.
And they're like, trigger warning, and I don't use that term lightly. There is a moment where Tommy walks in with an axe into a camp cabin and goes Anakin Skywalker on a bunch of younglings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like, and that was already at the point where I had seen a woman's head put through some sort of meat slicer.
Right.
The gore in it was incredible. And also, if there are nitpickers who are worried about spoilers, when Ziggy gets stabbed a whole heck of a lot at the end of 1978, you know why she survived? It's because the guy who wanted her to survive had to deal with the devil. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
That's right. It was a good series of movies. In fact, I hope that informs Netflix that these kind of that experiment worked, and these kind of like trilogy type movies. If you have if you want to do them, this is the way to do them. I love that every Friday we got a new one. I think that's the way to do it. I think we were talking about the Continental and how they're going to do 3 movies in 3 consecutive nights. I think that's perfect. Don't make it like especially if these movies, because these movies they're not, these aren't movies in the theater. We don't need to wait years in between them. Let's make sure that we have them in a timely fashion. And I think that it's going to be a hit. In fact, they've been trending since they dropped. On Netflix.
3 of them were in the top 10 on Netflix. So.
Yeah. 1978 was top 9 in Canada when I watched it last night.
Crazy. Yeah. That's awesome.
Now, in terms of the 1666, as Phil mentioned, and as you mentioned, Steve,
I like the wait. Never mind. Okay, I'll just go. I like the aesthetics of it. The only thing I didn't really care for was kind of some of the acting was a little bit hokey and I mean, as we see here in Texas, bless her heart, but that actress, her accent went in and out kind of a bit. Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't hurt the story, it doesn't hurt the film. But that would probably be my only criticism of 1666. And I did like that. Glad that it didn't outweigh its welcome, because 1660 it was kind of getting a bit silly towards the end. But then it suddenly just stopped. I'm like, whoa, we're just going, and it goes back to 1994. I'm like, it's like 2 movies in one. So,
I thought that was such a brilliant way to come back, bring the story back around, right? It was a good device. They used it well. I didn't expect it, which is good.
Me neither.
It's good to be surprised at these things.
It's like 3.5 movies, pretty much.
I know we're probably not the target audience for films like this, but man, it was. But maybe we are. I don't know. I had a great time with it.
And I had an interesting thought just in regards.
Sexy 20-something actresses in horror movies. I'm there.
Yeah,
but
all
also
the actresses were good. The actors were good. The story was told well.
Depicting same-sex relationships, and I've had conversations with people saying and this is why I kind of want to highlight that just because it's an R.L. Stine, based on the R.L. Stine stories, it's not for kids.
No,
for the violence alone, it is not for kids. The adults' situations, not to be that parental guidance, but the adult situations of that in terms of drug use and alcohol and alcoholism and abusive parents and everything. With that, there's also a same-sex relationship between the 2 primary female protagonists.
Right. Well, I already got those people that are bringing up, the W word that we all hate.
But not only
Wikipedia.
But the gore. The gore alone, I think, earns the NC-17 type of rating for this. Close. They don't do it for those shows, but it's definitely a mature audience's movie. They're not for kids.
If you do enjoy people getting hacked to death with axes, this is the trilogy for you. And
in some inventive ways, which is pretty
good. The bread slicer.
But in ways that also graphically, I could tell some of it was CGI, and there was a little bit of janky CGI and whatever. But even it was no, I've never actually seen the repercussions of a person being hacked in the face with an axe before. And thank you for showing me that.
The little boy with the bat bashing him. Bing, bing, bing,
creep me out.
Fucking freaked me out. I loved it. So there's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff in the movie.
There is so much.
And like Phil said, if you're a horror fan, you're gonna pick up on a ton of cool Easter eggs and homages and references. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Like I said, this isn't Shakespeare by any means. These aren't Chariots of Fire winning awards and shit, but they're just good, solid movies to have fun with, and especially on the weekend. I watched them on Sundays, and it was a great Sunday afternoon movie for me. Every Sunday the last 2
weeks. I think one of the pluses is the director is married to one of the creators of Stranger Things, so that probably helps too. So he probably gave her a lot of insight on how to, make the film. I know Scotty's not a big Stranger Things fan, but
I like this way better than I like Stranger Things. I actually was invested.
One of the creators of Stranger Things. So.
Yeah. Well, she did a better job here than I found her on the other place. So,
Awesome.
but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong as usual. And then, do we want to get into the villain turn and how that was creative and amazing and something that had been planted organically throughout the trilogy and actually was investing as when I first found out, like, there are some turns in the stories where you think that what's her name? Who's the primary character?
Dina.
Dina. When Dina is showing up at the rival high school, Sunnyvale and the Shady Siders. And she goes and she's all jealous and she's going to go give her hope chest to Sam. And there is that thing at the beginning of the movie of 1994. And it's like, oh, okay, so Sam's the quarterback of the team. And you find out that Sam is not the quarterback of the team. Yeah, and it is the cheerleader. And I was like, ooh, what a twist. And but it didn't do it for the sake of, it did it to for lack of a better term, subvert my expectations, but it did it in favor of the story and my investment. And I was like, oh, I don't know who these characters are. The movie is going to tell me who these characters are. Yeah. And it was not spoon-fed to me. When I was surprised, I was honestly and earnestly surprised. The storytelling was organic and great. Everything about it kept me engaged, and I don't know what better a compliment I can give.
Now, I'm probably just a simpleton, and most people probably caught this way earlier than I did, but I was surprised that the sheriff turned out to be the bad guy.
I'm the I'm the horror buff here, and even I didn't catch that. So
I didn't. I was like, whoa! I didn't see that.
That was
coming.
A good twist.
I didn't either. And I feel like a damn idiot because his name was good.
Because good, right?
Sheriff
and I was like, oh, yeah. You know what? I don't even think I paid attention. But that was
2.5 movies. They were like, this is Sheriff Good. And I was like, well, he must be good.
Yeah. They didn't make it.
They were making all about Seraph.
I never picked up on the good name until the end, until the last movie. I'm like, it just, because they didn't focus on it. So they didn't.
And also his performance was so good.
But he had the best performance in the 1666 one, I thought.
Yeah,
I agree.
He was the more believable one in 1666. So.
But he always made you think that he was thinking. He was trying to assess the situation. And when I saw it initially, I was like, oh, he's trying to assess the situation. And no, he was trying to assess the manipulation.
Yeah.
And it was a very interesting and
it's amazing how that turn informs everything that happened before, right?
Yeah.
So and then you're like, oh, this is why that in 1978 this happened with the brother, or you know what I mean, and the whole, and it was just. It was good. It was good storytelling. And what can I say? You know,
smart. I mean, it didn't. A lot of people. Audience just because it's horror.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to pick it apart, and that's fine. But I think for what it was,
I've seen it for the music choices. I've seen it because of the same-sex relationships and all the reason why Sarah Fair got hung in the first place. I've already seen all that criticism. Yeah. Silly, because if that's all you can come up with, you need to get a life. So
when they cut off her hand,
that was brutal. That was pretty brutal. I was like, yeah, dude, they're showing this right now.
Like they don't hesitate for nothing. They're like they went there.
Yeah.
Like there was so much good stabbing, there was so much good axe play, there was so much good gun play, there was like let's blow up. There was a beheading. Like, oh no, it was and I'm not much of a horror guy, Phil, so maybe I'm a bit of a pussy. And I wasn't scared by it, but when I watched it, I was shocked by it. And I thought
that's a good thing if even you liked it, Scotty. So
yeah, that's what I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I did not think Scott was going to like this trilogy.
I thought you were going to tear it apart. I mean,
I'm like, all right, cool.
No, man, I was looking to tear it apart in the first 40 minutes. I was like, this is just cheesy Scream ripoff. And then once things kicked into gear, I was like, no, I'm fine with this.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely, this is great. Like, and even, there was a stupid joke in 1994 where it's like, the protagonists go and they bang in the ladies' room. And then the brother and
gets lucky with the hot chick.
valedictorian go bang in another room, and then the nerd grocery store employee of the month jerks off by himself. And then as they all come back together, the nerd who jerked off by himself, he's like, did you guys all go to Pound Town? And they're all like sort of being awkward. And he's like, don't worry about it.
Like, so
me too.
Me too. Yeah. I'm like, oh, God.
Some of it was cringy, but I mean, it totally
fit. Of course
with
it was cringy. It was a horror movie. Like, I was getting
Scream,
nitpicky about, like, when did IRC actually happen? Would the internet be this reliable at that time? And then I was like, dude, there's a witch. Maybe if you're worried about things, maybe just relax.
Right? Yeah. So overall, I thought it was good. I don't know if you guys want to. Do we want to give a score to this thing?
I'll take one trilogy or movie at a time.
Let's do the trilogy as a whole, so we can get out of here in a decent hour here. Phil, you go first.
Shoot, I'll give it a solid B+.
Ah, awesome. Scotty,
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I would like to watch all 3 movies with other people.
Awesome.
We should do that. We could do a watch party.
I'll give this a solid B. So that's where I'm at. I would say it was a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 if we're doing that.
7.5 for me for sure.
I think an 8 out of 10 is for me. I think that's like an A-.
That works.
The last one dropped it to below A to me, but I still like 1666, and I liked how it went back to the 1994. So
yeah,
that's what saved it. That's what saved the movie. For
I was wondering how they were going to do that. I was like, it was really solid. And like I said, for a Sunday afternoon movie, I couldn't ask for any better.
If you have a lot of laundry to do, watch all 3.
Chill out. Watch all 3.
I'd watch all 3 back to back.
It is a marathon that is worth your time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the horror buff in me was very satisfied. So,
well,
this will take off by October.
I want to thank you for coming on and doing this review with us. It's always nice to have your expertise, and we'll do it again. I also watched Gunpowder Milkshake, and maybe we'll talk about that.
I'll probably watch that tonight.
I want to talk about that pile of rubbish tomorrow, maybe. But until then, for Black Phillip Alvarez, Scotty R13, I am Steve Foley.
37, you dick.
What did I say? 13.
13.
Don't worry, we'll edit this out in post. Have a good day, guys.
See you guys. Have a great day.
No comments?